Well, hey folks, welcome back, Open Pagan Church. And I'm going to bring up my little Discord people here. Alright, Discord, you are live. We are live here at Open Pagan Church on Sunday morning. Now, I don't know if anyone has paid any attention, but hell. That's better. On the opening screen, and I'll flip over there real quick. On the opening screen, I know that we have a lot of people that watch us and interact with us in other countries and other parts of the USA. And everybody says, well, what time is it there? What time is it there? What time is it there? Well, I always start the stream 5 minutes before broadcast. So if you'll notice, in the bottom right hand corner of the screen I'm pointing at, I purposely put that full size so that people would be able to see the time right there. So we start broadcasting precisely at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I do the same thing on Live with the Shaman so that people can see what time it is. One other announcement I noticed last week, much to my dismay, two of the archive channels that we upload to, TikTok and the other big picture channel, which I never can remember the damn name of it, the maximum that you can put on there is 1 hour. Well, last week's broadcast went 1 hour, 1 minute, and 30 seconds. So that 1 hour, 1 minute, and 30 seconds I was not able to upload to those streams. So if anybody wanted to see the topic for last week, then notice that we did not upload one. It wasn't because we didn't try. It was because it went over the 1 hour mark. So I will endeavor to keep these just below the 1 hour mark, if I can shut up long enough. Who we got over in Discord this morning?
Hey, this is Cindy. Good morning.
And me, Lucy.
And me, Lucy, as she says in a very low humming little voice till somebody pisses her off. Right, I have to remind myself periodically we are a family friendly channel. People are welcome to join. Your kids are welcome to join as long as they have your permission, because I know how crazy people can get. Here on Open Pagan Church, we do cause you to question, and that's the thing. If we question, we seek education, knowledge, and wisdom, and we grow in our own spiritual path. Now today we're going to recap one of my pet peeves. Is it's not God's fault. It's
yeah,
not.
if Ivan, you got your voice on?
Hey,
You got a new person in.
Ivan, that is Dave, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Okay, that's right.
Yep. Alright, so,
Sorry.
yeah. So here's the thing, and here's the whole point behind the whole topic of it's not God's fault, or the goddess's fault, or the spirit guide's fault, or council's fault, per se. I counsel people all the time on why the gods allowed something to happen, quote unquote, or they will go through a rough patch in life and they'll wonder why the gods are allowing this to happen to them, or something really nasty will happen to some really good people, as we've had happen in the past. Well, I'm here to tell you, bad things happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people. And vice versa. Good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. Even though I'm not a firm believer in shit happens, in the paradox, in retrospect, sometimes shit happens. There are times, ladies and gentlemen, where you will get hung up in somebody else's momentum. I know here in Texas, where I live, we have had our fair share, at the time of this video, first part of September 2019, we have had our fair share of Walmart shootings, school shootings, and shootings of the like, where people have taken pop shots at individuals causing mass mayhem and murder. That's not God's fault.
Boy, have we.
What the who?
He said, boy, have we.
Right. That's not God's fault. That's not the goddess's fault. People, human beings, are responsible for their own action and our reaction. Somebody walks up and hits me, it is my responsibility to either react and hit them back, or not react and ask what the hell's going on. Now, of course, I'll admit, my temperament and my training, I am well out to hit somebody back. Well, as I get older, things don't heal as quick as they used to. So I tend to ask questions before I just rip into somebody. Well, it's pretty much the same in life. If we're so busy blaming it on the gods, we're not looking in the mirror going, what choices have I made that have led me to this outcome? And let's think about that for a moment. What choices have I made that has led me to this outcome? Matt, go ahead.
What do you mean? What God is? What's led up to this day, this time?
Well, if you've got,
I think.
go ahead.
Sorry. I think what he's trying to say is kind of like the type of person that places blame on other people. Like, it's not my fault. It's not, trying to place blame on God instead of what you're doing. Like, what are the things that you have done to put you in the path that you're at? Like, for every cause, there's a reaction. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, and it's really simpler than that. I know pagans, well, not just pagans, but pagans for sure are really protective of children. We're very protective of those who can't protect themselves. And sometimes when, all the time, let's say, let's pick one of the topics today in media of the kids that are getting caught up in the crossfire of gang shootings, mass shootings at, the grocery stores, people that are so hung up in their own rhetoric and hate that they start shooting people of alternative lifestyles and other colors and races and belief systems and what have you. It's not...
Hi, Lester.
Hey, Lester. It's not God's fault people are stupid. It's not God's fault that young children are in the place where mass shooters can get to them. And so much of the time I've seen parents really try to take the responsibility of their kids being at a park where a kid should be safe, or a family gathering or a church gathering where kids should be safe. And some psycho idiot gets out there with a long shot rifle, sniper rifle, and starts taking pop shots at people. But the topic is, and it's damn sure not gun control. I'm not going to even entertain that conversation. But the topic is, it's not God's fault. People that we love, they die. Human beings, there are two guarantees. Well, if you're born, that guarantee is out the window. It's already done. The only other guarantee is you're going to die. Now, we don't know when. We don't know how. Me, personally, I just want to go to sleep one night and not wake up until the next life. But when we start looking at, like Lucy said, people want to blame someone else. Well, it makes it easier. And in this day where so many people are asking, how could God let that happen? I mean, how many times do I see on Facebook? How could God have allowed this storm to kill so many people? And I have to not get on the keyboard and go, God's not going to try to stop a hurricane, folks. Sorry, neither is the goddess. A hurricane is a natural action on Mother Earth. There are things that naturally happen on Mother Earth that we just are along for the ride. We have loved ones that are sick. My wife, unfortunately, at times is more sick than she is well. I don't blame that on the gods. I damn sure don't blame it on her. It is where things are, and we do the best we can. But the whole thing, the whole point to the broadcast is a reminder that before we blame the gods and goddesses, and even before we blame ourselves, unless we know it's our fault that hurricane hit the coast, like any of us are strong enough to make a hurricane hit the coast or keep a hurricane from hitting the coast. I mean, the only thing we can do as practitioners is put a shield over our property and hope like hell it holds. And if it does, then we give thanks to the gods and goddesses that we follow for the added strength. And I had someone ask me one time, if you give thanks for all of the good things that happen to you, then why isn't it the God's fault when the bad things happen to you? That's kind of a simple answer, because much of the time we get hung up in everybody else's momentum, or we have made choices today or yesterday or in the past. We've made choices that have slowly snowballed until when we least expect it, it jumps up and smacks us upside the head and goes, do you remember when? Been there, done that. So what are some of the stories that either you guys in Discord and you guys that are in chat and those of you that watch our broadcast, the pre-recorded broadcast, by all means, we want your input. So what are some of the stories that you may have had happen to you that you had to go back and say, this isn't the God's fault? Nobody?
Well,
So,
No. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Luce.
So before I was pagan, I was a Jehovah's Witness, and I married another. My first husband was a Jehovah's Witness, and he was verbally abusive. He's very controlling. It was pretty bad, and I stuck in there because my religion at the time said either adultery or death. Yeah, I see you laughing. And I I kept questioning, like, why is God letting this happen? Like, I've done everything good, I've never done anything bad. Like, I questioned everything because at that point, because of what I was going through. But once my mom found out what was going on, she was like, well, you need to come home. So, but at the time, I questioned everything. Yeah.
But would you not question everything with what you had been through? I mean, if you're taught this is the way to believe, and you're taught this is the way to think, and you're taught this is the way to live, would you not fall into that questioning everything?
Yeah. And that's what made me leave that religion, because I didn't feel that making myself be stuck in a situation like that because of their commandments, it just, yeah. That's actually the reason why I left that church, and the fact that I was judged after I left him.
Well, that's a logical reason, and to be fair to the other religions out there other than paganism, is it the religion that's the problem, or is it the people that is the problem of the religion?
I think it's the people.
It's both.
I agree. Well, when you consider the people built the religion, and the people made the religion what it is, there are certain sects of the pagan population that I don't agree with at all. There are certain sects of the Muslim religion that I don't agree with at all, and I happen to find the Muslim religion core to be a very peaceful, very calm, very understanding philosophy. So the whole thing is, I believe, in my opinion, is that it's people that cause the problem, because people make their religion, unfortunately, not the other way around.
It's like our topic. It's not God's fault. It's people that has reaction to other people doing that. It's just like what was it? Last night or something like that. There was a shooting somewhere, and people are going, why God? Why? Because it's people thinking, there's no telltale signs. Did I say that right?
I think so. I think we should be going after the people causing the atrocities, not the gods that they follow, not the religion that they are. I mean, I see people all the time that cringe when they see Muslims in the workplace. They become paranoid. And I tell people all the time, Muslims are not the issue. The issue is some of the people that follow or claim to follow the Muslim philosophy. It's like anything else. Christianity is not a problem. Anybody that has studied the Bible or studied the foundation of Christianity, it's really quite cool. It's not for me because I'm not monotheistic. I happen to cater very strongly to to my polytheistic philosophies. But religions are not the problem. It is the people that are the problem. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, my Facebook has not been scrolling up. I thought nobody was typing. So, what are some of the things that have happened? And those of you that are joining us in chat, and, I've known Lester. Holy shit! I've known Lester going well over, I think, almost 30 years now.
And he goes bye-bye.
Poof, there he went. So where do we go with it's not God's fault? It's not the God's fault. It's not the goddess's fault. People have turned out the way they have. Sadly, we find ourselves in a position here in 2019 where more and more people are claiming religion for the reason that they're doing what they do. And we touched on this a little bit on our last broadcast of where are the gods from. And I think in flowing along with this series of, where are they from? It's not their fault when shit goes wrong, if you think about it. But at the same time, at what point, and think about this, on a plus side or on a negative side, strictly up to you, however you want to view it. At what point can you say the gods, the goddesses, council, spirit guide, whatever you call them, deity, has intervened in your life? Think about for just a moment, since you found your faith, your path, whatever it may be, whether it's Christianity, paganism, Muslim, Jewish, all the rest of them out there that I can't even remember off the top of my head. How many times do you think over your years that they've intervened in your life to maybe make things a little better? Anyone?
About a dozen or so. Starting, I guess, with the I had faith in them because of my dad and his heart. That's the first time I think I remember that one. And to the most recent one, probably about 2 months ago.
I would have to say for the past few years, or actually, yeah, the love and support of this group. I mean, if it wasn't for it, I don't think I would have made it, honestly.
You see, there's the interesting thing of faith. I've never been one to put my faith in the human race. At my age and the things I've been involved in my younger years, I have seen the human race commit some pretty nasty atrocities. And at the same time, what the hell's the name of that hurricane that's underway right now?
Dorian.
Hurricane Dorian right now. For the crap that it's bringing out in people, looting and what have you, it's also bringing out the best in a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there that are doing the very best they can to help those people in Hurricane Dorian's aftermath. and very fortunate enough that Hurricane Dorian skipped across the coastline. Granted, it tore some stuff up, but that was a monster hurricane. If it had hit Florida dead on, who knows what would have happened if it had come into the coast. Poor Lester there in Louisiana would be swimming, snorkeling, so to speak. So there's really not a whole lot we can hammer home on it's not the God's fault. But we need to remind ourselves on a daily basis, I think, that is what's happening to me choices I made that have caused a momentum for me to be where I am today. Any input on that?
In other words, you're saying that we make our own decisions and our own path.
Well, yeah, we make our own choices, don't we? I mean, we have free will. To a firm degree, we have free will. We make our choices. We have to live with those choices.
Like we used to say, karma in good, karma out good.
Yeah. And more fundamental than that, positive out, positive in. Same thing.
Right. Same thing.
But also, do we stop with positive out, even though we happen to be tangled up in a whirlwind of crap, if you will, because things are happening right now in life that may be causing us chaos, strife, maybe health issues. I know right now I'm going through my own health issues, my own health issues that I've never had to deal with before, which are kind of interesting and weird. But anyway,
So Don,
yo,
your faith, it's not God's fault.
no,
But how can I put this? I'm thinking, hang on. It's like this saying, I saw this, I looked it up, it's not God's fault. And on one of these topics, one of the lines it says, human thought is filled with misconception of God and the belief that God takes the lives of his children to punish or inflict harm on trespassers. So it has to be not God's fault, it's human fault.
well, or let's take a hurricane for example. Scientifically speaking, we know that hurricanes have gotten stronger, larger, and more deadly because of global warming. Well, global warming mostly
human fault.
Mostly happens because of the things we humans have done. In retrospect, if you look at the history of the Earth, scientifically speaking, of course, the Earth does go through periodic bouts of global warming from time to time, and the atmosphere changes and weather changes and what have you. But things that we do to directly impact others, I don't see that as the God's fault. Lee Post, we do use our own common sense to make good choices, but for me, I listen to or look for some guidance to ensure I'm keeping myself in line. But if a person does something that is obviously wrong, you just can't put that on guidance. That's human choice. Well written, Lee. Thank you very much. Absolutely straight up. But sadly, common sense is not very common these days. People I know in my job, it's never somebody's fault. It's always someone else's fault. People don't use common sense and they come back with, and I love this one, well, I wasn't trained correctly. And when
Or-
uh-huh.
And we're little in the past, aunts, the not I goes.
Well,
I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. The devil made me do it. But common sense is not very common these days. And when we look for guidance, it's like Lee says, I listen to or look for guidance to ensure I'm keeping myself in line. And that's one of the things that we all do or should do. I myself, before I make a decision that I know for a fact is going to completely affect myself, it's going to affect Open Pagan Church, or it's going to affect my family here, or my job, I think about it if I can. There are sometimes I have to make an executive decision and a split thought, and then I have to deal with whatever fallout comes. But if it's on me to make the decision, and I've thought about it, I try to sleep on it and meditate on it, and I go with the decision, I have to be willing to accept the consequence or the fallout of that decision. I am not going to blame my spirit guides for something that I made the decision to do, whether they recommended it or not. Because at the end of the day, it's my choice, it's my responsibility. And that's why I led into the topic, and I'll go ahead and say it here. I led into the topic for Live with a Shaman later of following spirit guides. Because so much of the time, if we're listening to guidance, right? And this is one of the things I think we all should remember. If we're listening to guidance and we're following guidance of spirit guides, God, Goddess, whatever deity you follow, at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for that. Because you are the one that committed the act, or decided not to act, or react.
Nobody's fault but your own.
Right. Now at the same time, let's think about cause and effect. And we've talked about cause and effect a million times with karma and what have you. But it also goes into it's not God's fault, because what we've alluded to all through this broadcast is cause and effect. If I walk up out of the blue for no apparent reason and just dope pop somebody, that's my fault. But I am also mildly responsible for their reaction to my action, even though they are responsible for their reaction to my action. Anybody see the paradox in that?
Somewhat.
So who?
Can you say it again?
Well, okay. If I walk up for no apparent reason and hit somebody, I mean, just go pop hell out of them, that's my fault. If they did nothing to me, they're standing there having a conversation that doesn't affect me at all, and I just walk up for whatever weird reason and just knock the crap out of them. That's my fault. But they are responsible for their reaction just as I am responsible for my action. But am I also not responsible, even if just a little bit, for their reaction? Anybody see the paradox in that?
Yes.
Anybody disagree with my analogy that I am responsible, in part, for their reaction?
Right, because you don't know how they're going to react. It just depends on how they feel, what they want to do.
Okay. Now, let's go with a hell of a lot more um, peaceful theory, if you will. We are pagan. We have a pagan church. Granted, we're online, and we have two subsidiaries down south. One's in Beaumont and one's in Liberty. I haven't been able to get one going up here yet. Well, we have really no place to hold it yet. We're working on it. But if we're holding a spiritual gathering, like, say for example, if we're holding a spiritual gathering for a Sabbath, and we're all sitting around talking, are we in any way responsible for a shooter that decides to kill all of us because we're pagan?
No.
No, we are not. So the churches, the African American churches, the interracial churches that have been attacked, the Hispanic, African American churches that have been attacked, it's not their fault that they were attacked. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're just plugging along. But the point I'm trying to make here, I think, if nobody's getting it, it's not God's fault that someone fell off of their trolley and decided to start killing innocent people. And one of the interviews with one of the churchgoers that was attacked, the lady said something that really sparked me in a good way, because I'm sitting there going, thank you, finally somebody that says the right thing. And she said, this is not God's fault. God will help us through. God will see us through this. Our faith will see us through this as a congregation. And like Lucy said a while ago, the group comes together as a whole to help those in need. So when you take a ball of crap that someone throws at you, if you can dodge it, cool. If it hits you, go take a shower. Shit washes off. But
Or
it's
do you
not
call
God's.
them on
Well, who?
Or do you call them on it? Call it bullshit.
Why? Well, yeah. You know, see shit, call shit for what it is. But the whole point, it's not God's fault. It's not the goddess's fault. It's not the religion's fault that people choose to do stupid things. Now, in retrospect, I want to draw a line in the sand here, and I do want to be heard to have said this. If people are the sect or the portion of a religion that has started recruiting weaker people to perform atrocities such as terrorists do, terrorists want to reach out and they want to grab the mentally weaker people who have less an understanding mentally of right and wrong, and they will program them, they will brainwash them into committing suicide bombers, mass atrocities, mass murder, and what have you. But that's still not God's fault. It's not the goddess's or the God's fault. And it's not the fault of the religion that is the problem. Because if you look at the actions of people, they are acting and reacting to other people. Is that making sense? I hope.
It does.
So let's think about this. Alright, and I'm going to kind of draw to a close with this, unless anybody has a story they want to share. People may let's see, Cindy says, people may let you down, and life might be hard, but no matter what we face, it's not God's fault. And I think as we continue along that lines, and we continue to say thank you and the good things and the bad things that happen, we take a look at the momentum. Are we tangled up in someone else's momentum? Are we a part of Mother Earth that has storms and tornadoes and high winds, and some places on the earth have worse winters than others? That would be why I don't live in Siberia or Alaska, right? I live up in north central Texas, just outside of Dallas, where it gets cold enough here for me.
We just need y'all to move to Scotland.
I agree. Let's all move to Scotland. And it does get cold in Scotland.
It's okay. I crochet.
Hey.
I'll make it up.
Lucy says, it's okay, I crochet. That's a cute little rhyme.
I'm sitting here crocheting right now.
Ah, well, there you go then. There you go. So I think when all the crap is out of the way, and we sit and we take a look at what we are doing, what I am doing, what you are doing, are we doing something to make a positive difference? Or are we sitting on our duff, blaming everyone else and everything else for things that we could help change? I think that is a thought that maybe we should all think a little more about. Is there something I can do to make a difference? Now granted, I can't get out and physically work like I used to. My health won't let me. So I do what I can behind this crazy microphone that looks like a rabbit in my face. And I read on groups and reply where I can and involve myself in the only way I can at the moment.
Oh, I see that now.
See what?
Your microphone. I've never noticed it. Anyway, back to subject. Let's close out.
Yeah, back on subject. Not that we ever digress. All right, so
Never.
no. What were we? Oh, as we go through our lives and as we live out our time, I think that if we give a little more, bitch a little less, put forward a little more positive energy, and give out a little less crap. Lucy says squirrel. And drum. And have fun with life. I think we might make it a little bit better place. Well, as always, I do want to thank each of you for watching, each of you for being here. Remember, our Discord group is always open if you want to talk or chat. We'll be getting ready once we leave here to get ready. We will be getting ready once we're done here for Live with the Shaman. Hope to see you there. Everyone is always welcome. Thank you for watching Open Pagan Church, and we'll see you right here next week with another mind-bending topic, I hope. Have a great day.